Welcome to the Future Tech edition of the Finding Genius podcast. Forget frequently asked questions. Forget common sense, common knowledge, or Googling for information. How about advice from a genius in their field instead? 95% of people in any profession are good enough to be qualified and licensed. 5% go above and beyond. They become very good at what they do, but only 0.1% are the geniuses of their profession. Richard has made it his life's mission to interview the geniuses of their fields in areas such as AI, 3D printing, quantum computing, blockchain and Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out on amazing podcasts with geniuses. Review us on iTunes or wherever you listen, and go to futuretech.findinggeniuspodcast.com and subscribe today.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech and Finding Genius podcast series. I have Alex Liu. He's the former IBM Chief Data Scientist. Now he's founded a company called RMDS Lab. RMDS Lab. They work with AI and big data. They actually hosted an international conference where they had 60-plus leading experts come. The Los Angeles mayor did some opening remarks. Some foreign dignitaries came. And Alex is forging ahead now with more work in the AI space. So, Alex, thanks for coming. How you doing?
Thank you for inviting me, and glad to have this opportunity.
So tell me, what is RMDS Lab about? What's the premise of the company?
RMDS is actually is a community-based ecosystem provider, and we are and start formally last year, 2019. In terms of the community, we actually started 10 years ago. So we have been working on to build the data science and AI community for almost 10 years. And the main focus, as I mentioned, is ecosystem approach, because we see a lot of almost everybody adopt the data science some kind of AI, but a successful ratio and in terms of completing a data science project to serve community, company, or any organization actually is not very high. So we are providing ecosystem-based service to increase the successful ratio of adopting data science.
Well, okay, AI is a very big space, and so is data science. So
yes.
Are you going to develop tools for people to use where they can use it in their own business? Or like, what is the ecosystem going to help foster for people?
The ecosystem mainly, and per our definition, consists at least 3 parts. One important is a community of many data scientists. And the second is a data portal. And the third is a computing platform. And as you mentioned, there are many available computing platforms there. So we are not developing anything special, but there's more kind of connecting all the tools together. And like other people and mentioned, it takes a village to really be successful in data and AI. So our main contribution is to connecting all the elements together to help people to find their position inside the data and AI ecosystem. And it's really the data and the AI project is going to be a sport. It's not just something that can complete by one individual or a few people. So in other words, as people observe right now, is that many companies, they will hire 5-6 people and then start the AI or project. And most likely it's not going to be successful. They need more data, they need more people, and that's how our ecosystem.
So what are some of the biggest constraints? Is it that do people underestimate that they need tremendous amounts of good data for AI projects, or is it that there's not enough expertise out there? Like, what are the critical components of a successful AI company?
And I definitely like 2 aspects. One is about data. For example, even mathematically, we know that if we build a model and we do not have enough feature or variables there, then we will encounter model specification bias. The model is not going to be accurate. And the second is that we know there are many different kind of algorithms and models available. But for small team, they tend to utilize just one model, like regression or decision tree, just something they are mostly familiar with. But according to mathematics, then if just use one model, one approach to try to solve all the problem, then what you get is almost close to the benefits close to zero. That means it's impossible to just use one method and to solve all the problems. That's why you definitely need more data and also more model and most likely more co-workers.
So do you come in an advisory capacity where you evaluate the goal of the task, the problem they're trying to tackle, and tell them, all right, this is the resources you need. These are the models you might want to consider. Like, what's your role?
We actually have built a platform and a web-based platform. The URL is grmds.org. And in there, and most of our clients and the partners will come in to build their profile and also their projects. So based on what they are working on, we actually have some intelligent engine and behind that will recommend data and also will recommend co-workers. And because this is very complicated, so I sometimes even do some advisory work, but my own is not enough. And also myself is also quite limited because we need to take a big ecosystem approach. So that's why we have building intelligent engine, intelligent algorithm behind that will select the right data set and also perhaps the right algorithm and also the right co-workers and recommend back to those users and data scientists. They have their project upload to our system.
So what are some examples in machine vision? What are some general recommendations on what to do and what not to do? And what are some general recommendations for different applications?
For example, we have been here in Los Angeles, in Pasadena, worked with many city government, and they have a very good open data portal with all kind of data sets about transportation and events and even people's salary and water usage, all kind of things. And when the cities come to solve a problem, then they often facing the challenge of lacking technical resources, and also even they have their data is rich, but it's not good. And you also perhaps need to use weather data and private data or university data and the schools data. So then according to this and per the problem they are solving, then our engine can recommend additional data. Of course, it's not just, you need all the data, but it will per their need specific. For example, the weather data actually will have a big impact about the school attendance and even about the crime prevention and all those kind of things. Then beyond that, we also have connect to a big community and of data scientists who are familiar with very kind of algorithm, very kind of methods. So then we will recommend some of the possible algorithm and also perhaps some co-worker. And we have been taking this approach to help city government team and was very successful and helped quite a few of them to be more productive and also solve some real problems. So it's kind of like recommendation, but really targeted to the problem and our client or partner.
So what are some problems in AI that you think are more likely to solve soon? Which ones do you think are more difficult based on?
It means more solve the problem sooner, and there are also like a different kind of challenge, right? And some of them want to get more accurate prediction. And for example, and as for the individual project, and my team also worked with NASA JPL, and what we try to do is to improve the prediction of hurricane intensity And a lot of teams, a lot of people have worked on that. And we always know that you can take in different models, and even in sample them, then the prediction can be improved. Then besides that, and also additional data, currently we get a lot of data collected by the satellites sent out by NASA surrounding us. They have collected huge amount of data, but it's underutilized. And so we can help the people, help the teams to utilize that data.
Yeah, can you talk about what you used to work on in IBM? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yes, and when I was at IBM, then one of the task is to take IBM's new technology to different IBM corporations. And so I actually worked on many POC projects. And basically, it's like take some challenge of the corporate client. And for example, one insurance company wanted to improve their assessment of their sales agent. And then we can help them to pull all together the data, then to build something better, assess the effectiveness of their employees, managers, and because in the past they are they were not using all the data, so we help them with more data. And also even like last year, actually now it's like 2018 December, I also spent a few weeks in Saudi Arabia and helped now the most valuable oil company, Aramco, and help them to adopt some data science technologies to help them to better assess the different quality of their well and optimize the checking system and all this. So they are actually, what I learned from IBM is that data and AI available, and now we can apply them to almost all kind of situation to really help people to get some. And besides that, also of course, I also contribute some other things. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. What are people, even experienced people or companies, what are they surprised about when they start working with RDMS? Where do you see the typical failure points or points of lack of knowledge?
At the beginning is that, people think they hire people out from school, right? And also many people who are just out from school is that they think everything is kind of perfect. But for example, in school, you learn with the technology, you can get some good data and well structured and perfectly cleaned. Then you apply some software tools onto that or some algorithm, you can quickly get some results and it looks very good. And in reality is that the data is not perfect and always a lot of problems and also missing data, dirty data, even sometimes wrong data or fake data. Then you will take a long time for you to get the data organized and in a way that's suitable for any. So I think what people surprised is that they find that they spend a lot of time to deal with data, and which is also another area that RMDS can help them out, because we have tools on our platform that can help them to clean data, get data more organized and ready to be used used for all kinds of model building and even causal model. And
how can companies collect data, or machines, or how can people collect data in a better way right off the bat, so they don't have to have many problems processing it? Like, what are some good practices for better data collection?
Yes, there are also a lot of ways to help them to get the data better organized. And there's a lot of tools available, and always some better process and better a standard and implement that will help them. But even so, and there are still something that they cannot avoid. For example, if you ask people for the data, then some people may be busy at that point, make some mistake. It's something you cannot avoid. And also some people, maybe they do not like and being collected data, they even report some fake data. There's also common practice, and the things that you cannot have. So no matter what, there always some dirty data or problem data we have to work with.
Well, very good. Well, what's the best way for companies to get in touch with RDMS and to start working with you?
I think for us, the best way is still for them to get into our platform, RMDS.org. And in there, actually, we already provide a lot of services free of charge. And so they are welcome to register and get a user account and build up their profile. So for us, for the system to know more about what they are working on and what kind of challenges they are facing. So in that way, we always back-end intelligent engine to help them out, do some quick data recommendation. And if they need additional service, we can also easily connect them with our experts and with the community to get some. And like I mentioned earlier, definitely always takes ecosystem and big community to really.
Well, that's great. Well, Alex, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wish you have a good day.
You've been listening to the Future Tech edition of the Finding Genius podcast. This podcast is information only. No advice of any kind is being given. Any action you take or don't take as a result of listening is your sole responsibility. Consult professionals when advice is needed. Review us on iTunes or wherever you listen, and subscribe today by going to futuretech.findinggeniuspodcast.com.